Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome back to Space Engineers. So, you may notice something a bit different from last we left. I've built a ton of stuff and I've destroyed a bunch of terrain. Other people will call it judicious use of the smoothing tool. I used my mining ship to clear out a bunch of space by precisely and then accidentally making giant holes. So there's a lot of flat space now, marked by this light armor block that hasn't been created. I've also mapped out the limits, so to speak, of this layer of terrain, and it goes around the entire place. I haven't done the limits of below, apart from a few notable exceptions. So this area, and this area, just so that I don't accidentally drive into them. And I've been doing some of that with this thing. The little rig that we had of a new rover, I turned into this. It holds some mining drills and a larger cargo container, so it's got a bunch of stone in there. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't put that in the inventory yet. Who knows? Right, let's back up just a bit. Descend. Thank you. Break some things. If there aren't sparks flying, then you haven't done it properly. And then we're going to stick this in to the main inventory. Right, there we go. And now we shouldn't have anything in our system apart from less than 10 grams worth of stone. Well, I suppose that has to be the case then. Let's go back up, increase suspension, park, get out. So I've been manually mining some stone in addition to using the erase tool, so to speak. We don't need the survival kit anymore. We've got a med bay, and the refinery, which I didn't know could do this, turns stone into the compartments, the things that you can make with the survival kit by itself, instead of just creating gravel, which is useful. It means I don't have to have a machine that does only one job. Instead, I can just have the refinery do it. Speaking of resources, we can have a peruse at our lovely LCD screens. As you can see, we're pretty stocked up on the resources that we use quite a bit of. We've got 20-ish platinum, which is quite a good amount. Well, a healthy amount, considering we aren't in space. And then we've got some components lying around. I built a ton of steel plates because we need a ton of steel plates. And then our solar script is saying, hey, we're nearly at maximum charge. I did a bit of editing to the script. Well, I say editing, I just turned on the ability to use reactors as a fallback, which means that if the battery percent gets to 10%, then the reactors will turn on, and they will turn off if it's 15% or above, basically. But that hasn't happened recently, so that's fine. And the reactor can just give us, what is it, 12 megawatts? 15 megawatts. And our maximum input is 24, so that's pretty good. In addition, I've made a reinforced armor structure for the solar panels, because knowing me, I am going to crash into it at some point, and I don't want to have to salvage and rebuild it. Anyway, today what we are going to do is we're going to build a little scouting ship equipped with ore detector and other gubbins. But first of all, I'm going to want to set up a little construction bay / landing pad for it. We're not going to need it to interface with the conveyor system at all, but I just want a landing pad so I can do things a bit more properly. So I'll get set up and then we'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've built this lovely platform, and it's fully built this time, and it's got colours and everything, so that it looks aesthetically pleasing. Right, let's get started. So first of all, this is going to be a small ship, a small grid. So therefore I'm going to use the excuse to use the fighter cockpit, because it looks a bit better than regular. We could also afford to stick some Gatling guns onto it, just in case we run into something we want to go shoot at. Other players, mainly. So if we have a look at the cockpit, we've got a conveyor access port here, here, and here. That's front, back, and underneath. The back one is large, the other two are small. This is important because we want to build with our conveyor network in mind, because we want the cockpit to be connected to everything else, and everything else is connected, interconnected, and we've got oxygen and hydrogen for the... We're going to want a beefy hydrogen engine, or rather a hydrogen thruster, but we don't want it... Give me a second, I'll be able to find my words again. But we don't want it to be our main propulsion method. We are going to be using ion thrusters, but we want the hydrogen in case we need to accelerate very quickly in a specific direction, or slow down, or speed up, or anything really. So we're going to have the cockpit. Underneath it is going to be a layer of conveyors, and underneath that is going to be the armor. So we're going to start with the armor. We are then going to add the conveyor, and then we go add the fighter cockpit. Now we're not going to be adding everything. I am going to try and build all everything here in stages, I think. Okay, so first of all, right, I'm going to need to grab some things. I'm also going to move you out the way so I don't hit you constantly. Right, thank you. Let me grab some motors, and then we're also going to need to grab some fighter cockpit stuff. Build. Yes. Right. We're going to need to build a landing gear, just in case something bad happens. I think that's facing the right way, yeah. Build this up a bit, because we want to be able to see where the conveyors are. And then we're going to assemble together a list of things that we need. Right, middle click, all components withdrawn, excellent. There we go. Right, so first things first, and we can do chassis work afterwards. We've got both of these, we don't need that. We're going to go over to Control 4, which is where I put most of my bits and pieces used for building. We're going to need thrusters. Thrusters are going to be a thing that we need. We might use large ion thrusters, but we want to keep this as a lightweight vessel so that we can land properly. It's not going to have a large cargo container. That's not necessary, but a small one won't go amiss. We're also going to need an O2 generator, maybe an oxygen tank. Though we could probably get away with just having the oxygen generator itself. Maybe? Let's have a look. Small hydrogen tanks do appear in this. Okay, we can grab this. So this is a regular oxygen tank. Ooh, these look weird. And then we've got a large hydrogen tank and a small hydrogen tank. That can easily fit here, right? Or rather... here. And it will allow us to access the front of the ship, which is useful. So this can be on the nose end of the ship itself. Maybe. Well, I don't think it will actually house that much hydrogen. Anyway, so in addition to that, we're going to need a reactor. We need that. Batteries in order to store up reactor power. We might need to use small batteries instead. Who knows? And then we want, because we're going with the hydrogen, the large hydrogen thruster route, a large hydrogen thruster. Okay, so the thing that we need to do is we need to keep a main conveyor line going throughout the ship. Which is going to be interesting. We could just place these down and start bolting things onto it. But I feel like that might be a bit bulky in terms of a solution. Technically we can do it differently. We can have two tanks in line. Like so. And then we stick down a conveyor junction. And then we place a oxygen generator and a battery. Okay. And then on the end of here, we can stick ourselves our large hydrogen thruster. Okay. Right, that should be everything major required. Required for this to fly and operate on long missions. It's got an oxygen generator, you just stick ice in there. It's got O2. It's got a hydrogen thruster, which will go off of the ice. Do we want it to not? Right, let's... I'm cycling through the wrong thing. Okay, so let's get some small hydrogen thrusters. Now, if I remember correctly, we can stick them here. And then we can place a... Not you. This. No, this. A small conveyor here, and it will link up to the conveyor junction there, which means that we have a small reserve of hydrogen, we have a large reserve of oxygen, and then all we really need is gyros, power source, thrusters, and then that should get the ship working. Yeah. Right, now, what other power sources do we have? Right, so we got wind no, we're not using the wind turbines. We could probably bolt on some solar panels just for that passive energy gain, but really tiny solar panels do absolutely nothing. So there's really no point. Hydrogen engine will chew through all our hydrogen. We don't want that. I think just having a reactor that does uranium is probably just going to do that for now. Right, I'm going to weld these up and then I'll be back in a second for some more construction. Okay, so there's all the core elements of our ship welded. We do have a bit of power from the battery. How much are you draining at the moment? Basically nothing. That's fine. Right, so next thing to do. Right, so we're going to replace all of our stuff on Control 4, since we do not need to create most of it. I don't think we need the small cargo container. Right. Because I'm an idiot, I got rid of ion thrusters, despite the fact I still need them. So ion thrusters, we need a nuclear reactor or two, we need some gyros. What else? Thrusters, gyros, reactor, and then you've got yourself a ship, basically. We can also go for an antenna, and we can go for a ore detector. Most of this is just avionics stuff. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm not a professional. A store, a block that enables automated trading. Excuse me. Contracts, block for contract now. I need to have a look at those because those sound interesting. Right, ore detector. Yeah, we can drag you over to here. You're going to be a last thing added. We also probably want a remote control just in case someone decides to hack the ship or something. Well, in case I want to fly around without being inside, because sometimes that gets you killed. So we've got conveyor here. This is a conveyor line of stuff. Right. How do I want to do this? Let's go grab landing gear. I want to see how much of a footprint landing gear takes up. Yeah, because it has to take up a cuboid. It can't take up a like three long and then one high. Can't do that. Well, 3 on the first layer, 1 on the second. It doesn't do that. Interesting. So, okay, going off of the I need to place down some more landing gear for later. No, I don't have to do that now. Okay, so let's start with the nose. Let's start with the nose because we can get noses right, I think. Right, so first things first, we're going to need some thrusters, and we're also going to need. What else do we want on the front? We're probably going to want to. Yeah, we still want a small cargo container so we can access the ship from the front. So if I build, considering the amount of stuff that we'll need, as in ammunition or ice or whatever, 2 cargo containers, which will get us our nose. And then we go and grab. What else? Well, no, because that'll be it, right? We just grab some plating and we go here. Like so. And then we can have the underside have the thrusters. Yes? But that's a work in progress. Right, let's just stick the rest of it on here, weld that up, and then I'll have a look. I'll have a feel as to do I care about it. Right. Because I can still access the cargo containers from underneath, so it's fine. It's a bit snub-nosed, but I suppose it doesn't particularly matter. Right, and then underneath, I'm going to want to weld those up, aren't I? Yeah. Right, let's add those to the compendium. Grab their materials. Build the displays, please. Thank you. Right. There we go. Yeah, so now that we've got that, we can access that from the front. I might change how the armor looks. I will change how the armor looks. Yeah, let's say that properly, shall we? Okay, so pretending that we have this here, just to make it so that we have a bit of a inclination as to how we want to place our thrusters. So we are going to need more thrusters on the front and back than we are the sides, though I'm probably going to stick to around 3 or 4 on each axis. More on the downwards. Okay, so the main axes that we want to worry about are forward, backward, and downward. So that we can counteract gravity when we lift off, and so that we can move forward and backward at a faster pace than moving side to side. We can, of course, increase the amount that we're going to do, but that's fine. Right, let's weld you up. We don't need this here, so we're just going to quickly remove it. It was just for purposes. Though that being said, having a gun on the front would be useful. Like, instead of this being here, we have a gun. Because we can stick some of them further back. You're all connected. Yes, you are all connected. Okay. Right, how far back do we need a Gatling gun to go? Right, so if we literally place it like this, it'll be poking out just barely, and I think that's acceptable. Right, let's go grab the materials required for a Gatling. Gatling. Actually, no, we can just do this. There is only the small version. Grab all that. And build all of it. Thank you. And then underneath we can have ourselves... This is all connected, Jake. This is all connected. Thank you. We can have ourselves the conveyor line. Not you. This. Conveyor line that goes all the way back here. And then we can weld that up. We don't need to connect these two, though we'll probably likely just add the line for ease of use and redundancy. Yeah, that sounds about right. Those sound like ideas I can get behind. Okay, so I've done some more work. I've duplicated what we've done on the other side and I've welded everything up. So we have, right, the amount of, because we need to work out the amount of thrusters we need, or I needed to. I'm just going to go through the calculations. So we've got grid mass. This is in kilograms. And using force equals mass times acceleration, we can work out the amount of weight this thing has. Weight being the force, mass being the mass. Right? The kilograms being the mass. So we need the gravity. Gravity is 0.25 g, which translates to 2.4525 times 10... meters per second squared acceleration. So we times 60,000, which is our upper mass limit, or rather the thing that I want to be under. We times 60,000 by 2.45, and that gives us roughly... Hang on. I'll redo the calculation because I've thrown away my notes for no reason in particular. Yeah, 60,000 times 2.4525 gives us 147,000 newtons, 147 kilonewtons. We can then divide that by the amount of kilonewtons a basic ion thruster gives, which is 14.4, and that will give us, hang on, redo the units, there we go. So we need 10.2 ion thrusters to stay afloat in a gravity of 0.25 g, right? We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Obviously, the more thrusters that we have, the easier it is to accelerate, modify our velocity. And that's going to be useful in case we need to slow down. But if we need to slow down, we've got this for us. This gives 400,000 newtons, 400 kilonewtons, which is beefy. Hang on, if I reverse my calculation. Yeah, we need 147 kilonewtons in order to counteract gravity. This can do it 2 to 3-fold. So that's quite a decent amount of acceleration. Anyway, we've revealed this part here so that we can place down some of these gyroscopes. But I don't have... hang on. I don't have any in the build planner, and I don't have the materials for it, so we're just going to... And again, please. Thank you. So we're just going to go grab our ingredients, and I'm going to... Did it just... I think something wrong happened. Can't quite tell, but something wrong happened. Right, so we're just going to place our gyros. We're going to place 4 either side. That should give us plenty of maneuverability. Oh yeah, the main reason why it's taking up a lot of room is large steel tubes. That's why. Because this is the perfect place to have all of our internals, because we've got 2 layers in between armor segments. Right, place the others. Thank you. Now, the only bad thing comes about... Oh, I don't have materials. The only bad thing comes about if we take a strike to the to center mass, or at least if this is taken out, then our ability to maneuver is heavily dampened. Right, let's weld the rest of this up, and then we can throw back another layer of armor on, just to cover up all of this mess. And then we should be getting somewhere decent. It did take me a while to become satisfied, slightly satisfied, with how the armor is set up, which is why there's a lot of modifications that weren't there previous... Oh, you're going to be annoying, aren't you? Yes, yes, I'm hurting myself on the arm thruster. You don't need to inform me. Now, of course, we are making this out of light armor, where if we want to go against gun turrets, it needs to be heavy armor. But, you know, this thing isn't built for combat, but it is built for shooting things. It has the ability to shoot, not the ability to get shot at, because it's small and maneuverable and chunky, apparently. Right, so we've got all of that, and then we've got 6 blocks of stuff. So we're going to need our ore detector. We're also going to need our antenna. Or beacon. No, antenna. Right, so we want to place this and this. For we are under the guise of this is a Recon vessel. What do I need? Thank you. And then thank you. Are you kidding? I swear I ran out of energy way too quickly. I do not remember running out of energy this much. Maybe it's because energy wasn't required for life support. It might be that. Yes. Right, okay. So that's that. And then I don't think we need anything else going in there. Well, apart from reactors. Yeah, let's stick the 2 reactors in there. The 2 reactors going to be enough for the power. Well, we'll find out. Right, so let's small grid, please. Stick 2 of those in. Chuck some components in, grab them out of here. Queue up the rest of the construction. Grab some more steel plate. Not this one. I need a reactor, not a gyro. Oh, it's right. I can't read. As per usual. Right. Where are you facing? You're facing down, right? Do you only have 1 output? Okay. Yeah, you only have 1 output. Lovely. Well, I guess I'm placing you there then. Go to the other side. Place it there. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Stick this here. It's yellow, which means it's out of power, but not off. Well, it's out of uranium. Right. Stick some stings. And then weld this up. Stick these here. Right. Now, this should technically function. But it's not going to function well. We've got up and left and right and forward thrusters. No, we've got down, left, right and forward facing thrusters. We've got a rearward facing thruster, but that's not got any fuel. Right, let's first of all, let's go grab some uranium. I think 50 uranium should do. We're going to go sit in the cockpit. Thank you. Okay, so apparently we have 7 hours. I can't... Ugh, give me a second. Retrieve my camera from the bowels of the earth. Place you here. So if we fire all of our thrusters, we got 6 minutes of lift. That's terrible. But that's only under maximum. That's only under 300 kilowatts. However, if we throw this in here, thank you for catching up. Our reactors should then grab some uranium. Each of the reactors. Ooh. Each of the reactors generates 500 kilowatts. which means that the battery is gaining 1 megawatt of input. So if I do this, it's still 6 minutes. I think that may be because of the amount of ion thrusters we've got. We may need, yeah, because each of them at their max input uses 200,000 kilowatts.
Ship fuel low. Ship fuel.
A conundrum. I mean, we could modify this and add a beefier power supply. We've got slots here to add more reactors. Each reactor adding another mega. Okay, so how many thrusters are we consuming here? 2, 4, 6, 7, 14. 14 thrusters. And then let's say that we also want to use those 4 on the side and the 5 at the front. Reasons. Now the battery is doing its job in that we don't, in that it's saving us from overload. So that's 14, 18, 23. Let's round that up to we're going to be using 25 thrusters maximum at a time. So that's 25 thrusters maximum. Times the, what was it, 300 or 200 kilowatt? 200, okay. 200 kilowatt. Which gives us 5 megawatts of maximum power usage. Now, with the current amount of stuff that we've got there, we can match that. Exactly. Except that's only the thrusters. Okay, so we've currently got 2, which backs off 1 megawatt. So if we build 8 more, then that means that we'll be able to supply 5 megawatts forever. Or rather, we'll be able to supply 5 megawatts when we need to. For a maximum of 9 megawatt output, because the battery also has the ability to dispense power. Yes. Okay, so let's plan that out, shall we? Right. Let's go grab some of the... Oh, no, I don't have any of my stuff, do I? Because I'm a moron. Right, let's go grab some more of you. I will need it. And some of you. Well, at this rate, I should probably just grab all of this. And I need more interior plate. Don't need any of that. Thank you. Right. So starting from here, 4 should allow for... 4 of these should allow for 8 reactors. Then let's move it along 1 then. So then we want to place down our reactors. Okay. And then with all of that, we should be able to power enough of the ship. Well, we should be able to power all of the thrusters that we will ever need to use. Even if I decide to add some more. And that's without counting the battery. Okay, so that many reactors should be good enough. It's just a matter of how much uranium this thing's going to take. But considering it's only like 5 megawatts at most, it's not going to be much. Right, so those are now things that need to be welded. Okay. Then we have to concern ourselves with throwing some thrusters here. So we can do... Well, considering that this needs to be covered. We can stick some here. Okay. And then 2 there as well. We're probably going to want to stick a couple more. Where's not being used? I suppose I could stick one here, right? That's not supporting anything. Okay, so we can stick that there. Right, and then it's just a case of building out the armor blocks so that it covers this up to a decent standard. Which is actually easy to do. Yeah, that's relatively easy. We may want to change that slightly. Change this one. Okay, so the point is that we need something here. If we stick this here instead, then I can have that covered as well. Yeah. Okay. That should be relatively simple to do. And then we have our... So properly, yes. I don't have steel. Lovely. Send grab some steel. Oxygen bottles out. Okay, then I just have to refill that. That won't be a problem. Fill this out, and then... we can place this, and then we just have this half slabbed. And then when it comes to this, let me just place the half slabs again. No. Not those. These. We then place these corner pieces. And that should satisfy. Right, I'm going to go weld all this up, and then we'll be back in a second to do what I think is the last section that we need to do. Yeah, so we've done the underside. We've done the sides. We've done the front, though I can change that a bit. The top is nearly done, and then, yeah, we just need to do the rear. And we can probably increase the length of this a bit so that we can make it look a bit better. Maybe. Anyway, back in a second. Okay, so we've done a bit of work. I've moved, well, what I've done is I've moved the hydrogen thruster back by 2 blocks by using the, what is it? Conveyor something. Conveyor frames, yes. Just so that this doesn't feel like a stumpy ship, or because it kind of looked like it. So spread it out by 2 blocks may not have been enough, but I think it's better than nothing. Which has given us some room to start folding the armor back to where it should be, so it isn't flat. Now, this does look like a complete mess of armor plating. It's because it is. But now all we've got to do is add some ion thrusters on the back, and then everything should be done. So let's go grab some steel plates. And we're going to plonk down some ion thrusters where I think there should be. So obviously we're going to need some in these corners here. Okay? That's kind of obvious. They are 1 block holes. We can easily fit that. Now, if this was like a block higher, then we could fit large ion thrusters here and here. Or we could fit them here and here, but we don't need 2 large ion thrusters. We've already got a ship with 2 of them, and it moves plenty fast already. Now, a thing that we could do is we could just fill this up completely with thrusters. So how about we do this, right? So then we now have to reassess how many reactors we need. I think it does. Oh, God. Right. Let's do this calculation again, shall we? If we follow this, which gives us 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 ion thrusters in that direction. 12 ion thrusters, then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So that's 12, then 14. Which is 26, and then adding just one direction should be 27, 28, 29, 30. So 30 ion thrusters, which puts us up to 7.5 megawatts. We can currently produce 5 megawatts by ourselves, and we have an overload of up to 4 megawatts. I'm thinking that that's a bit excessive, especially since 12 thrusters, well, I mean, they're able to fight the gravity, which I presume is useful, but I don't think we need that many. So we're just going to cut these off, which puts us down to 28 thrusters, which is 6.5 megawatts. Is that enough? No, my calculations are off. Yeah, my calculations are off. It would only be like... It would be 6 megawatts. Oh, I'm dying. I swear this happens way too often. I mean, you've seen me enter the med room a ton of times already. But that's because I forgot to power myself. Right, there we go. Close that, open this, close that. Right. Okay, so if we do that, and then we, just stick 2 blocks here and here. Hang on, if we... That would look somewhat better than just a corner out of nowhere. Right. Right, so let's go grab the parts for it. Oh, here's the question. How much uranium do we still have? I see they have split equally. Right, so our current thing... 24 days. Right. No. I don't want to open that. Right. At maximum thrust, and this is with all the reactors online, we can last 23 hours. 17 hours, 10 hours, 13. That's completely acceptable. And that's only 50 uranium. I say only. I don't know whether that's a good thing. Right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right. No. Yes. Ion. Oh, hang on. It's because we're going to need more ion thruster components, because I believe I ran out. Yeah, I did. And then I need 2 more ion thrusters built. And then once that's done, we should be able to do a field test, at least of the ion thrusters. Right, so we've got 10 ion thrusters here, 5 on the front, which means that we accelerate twice as much going forward than we do backward. I think that's fine. We don't need to brake that much. Yoink. So that's fine. And here we go. Now we are going to need to lift up so I can place down the last landing gear. Right. Now for the moment of truth. Now, for some reason, this really likes to zoom out a ton. I think it might be because it thinks I'm a station. Do you think I'm a station? You don't? Okay, right. Recon. Okay, unparking. Ah, yes. It thought I was the station. There we go. No, you're not complying. Oh, because you auto-parked. Right. Zooming in. Ooh, lovely. We can last like 23 hours like this. And our actual mass is 31,000 kilograms. Yeah, so we have plenty of thrust. Did I damage any of this? Yeah, I did. Oops. We are going to have to find a way to make that a bit better, I think. What does I need? Oh yeah, landing gears. Landing. Right. One landing gear goes here, making sure that it's facing the correct way. Yep. And one goes here. Excellent. Right, now with that done, let's do a quick scan of here, get everything into groups. Chose save off terminal. Gatlings. We don't have the ammunition for Gatlings at the moment. Right, ion thrusters. Ion thrusters save off terminal. Hydrogen thruster. Right, and then landing gear. Reactors. Okay, let's put it down to a single page. We don't need the cargo containers on terminal. We don't need the... well, I guess we can keep the hydrogen tanks here. And then we've got 2 oxygen tanks, ore detector, H2O2 generator, or O2H2 generator. Right, our battery is fully recharged in 2 seconds. Yes. Because all the energy will flow through the battery and then into whatever we need until it gets to 4 megawatts, in which case it will stop doing that. Okay, ore detector, let's set that up for 50 meters. That's terrible. Broadcast radius, we only want to broadcast like 2,000 meters. We don't want to display to the world. Right, Recon. Okay. I'm gonna landing gear. Don't auto lock. Only lock when I tell you to lock. We don't have any hydrogen at the moment, so we're basically going off of regular ion thrusters. So that's nippy, is what that is. That feels a bit powerful. Oh, fine, I'll do a decimal then. Now, technically, we should be speedy when moving around, right? Okay, let's go for a test drive. And again, it would be much faster once we have some ice, but for now... Well, I suppose it would be a good idea to go check for ice in space whilst doing this mission, right? Yeah. Right, let's aim upwards, shall we? Right. We're now in zero gravity. We shall now await the arrival of asteroids, because it does take a while for that to happen. Meanwhile, I'm going to decrease the power of the gyros again. 0.4. Right. Oh. Yeah, that's roughly all right. I mean, technically, we'd accelerate better by going upwards. Anytime you want to spawn some asteroids, game, you can spawn some asteroids. Right, we're currently cruising at 400 meters per second. The maximum speed is 500 meters per second. Still no asteroids. We'll see how far from the surface we need to be for asteroids to spawn. Because otherwise that might be a pain. Because I know for the Terran planet, the terrestrial planet, they have asteroids within the gravity, within natural gravity. Okay, well that's something. Well, that was something. Right, there's one asteroid. And it's now gone. There's another. Right, there's one over there. I have a feeling I'm going to need to do this. Just to slow down. Right, okay, the density's getting to regular levels now. That's all fine. My god, we don't slow down. Maybe having large iron thrusters might help. And there's a freighter? Yeah, there is. Okay. Well, that's fine. They can do their merry thing whilst I'm doing mine. Right, we're currently 60 kilometers away from base. Yeah, let's rotate this so that we're actually in a nicer orientation. Right, this may be a bad thing. Oh yeah, this is totally fine. Lovely. Well, my approach wasn't brilliant. Bad things could have happened. But all in all, I think it's fine. Right, I don't think there's any ice on this asteroid. There is uranium, however. Right, let's slow down, park ourselves, get ourselves GPS. Iron, silver, uranium. Okay. It's an awful lot of iron. Planets don't have nearly that much iron. Or at least I don't think they do. Right. So I'm going to go scout around for some ice. And then I'll return to base and we'll see what we want to do next time. I want a bigger ship. Is what I want. That's that's the goal at the moment. I want a bigger ship, but considering that other people have the ability to find my base pretty easily, we might work on adding some defenses instead. But until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.